want to go after a topic that's has been interesting to me for a while, and that's how to charge up your chakras, or another way of saying this is how to be creative or have great experiences, spiritual experiences, uh, like basically like a trip without the drugs. Uh, there is a lot that a person can do to have a really good time with herself or himself, and also there are things that you can do to charge up your chakras that kind of helps you become creative. Well, I wanted to call this video "Learning to Learn," but that's too much intellectual. Uh, these are just a bunch of ideas that relates to the experiences you can have. This could be spiritual experiences, or basically a change of ambiance in your own consciousness, something like that. And I learned this because I go to the Sufi temple, and I've had so many experiences there. It's just like you get charged up, and I sometimes I come out and wonder, what went on there, that all these experiences happened, and I kind of like mentally follow a trail, like the Sufis say that, for example, when that you go on a spiritual journey, it happens in the stages, and in each stage, your spirit changes, or the way you feel, or the way you are, completely changes and becomes that stage, and then you move on. Well, I guess the pilgrimage to Mecca, there are like stations you go through, and each one of those stations means something. It's basically the same idea of the change of a state of mind, state of heart goes, and each artifact or thing that you do in that stage signifies this journey. Well, another thing that the Sufis say is that God is in the congregation, or in the group. Is in jam, which means a group of people. It's like the energies that you might have just a little bit, they get magnified because somebody else is also having that experience, and so on. So it's like you have one solar collector, but then if you have the same solar collector but like hundreds of them, the amount of energies that you can collect is magnified. And you feel that like you're completing a bigger puzzle. But then after a while, when you have had many spiritual experiences, you really don't need to have all these people and all this decoration and all this little song and dance. You just can go there if you want. You can just get that mental images and just put yourself gradually into that mode. Well, the very first thing that I want to pay attention to and kind of study, and this really helps charge up the chakras and give you a lot of good energy, is the very first thing that we do when we go to the temple is like take your shoes off and leave them by the shoe rack by the door. So it also has a meaning too to the Sufis, is that you leave the concerns and preoccupations with your day-to-day life or other stuff that's going on. You're leaving it by the door, okay? So this kind of gives you a chance to experience something else. And then when you sit down, okay, there isn't anything that you can really do within that space, within that 3 hours. You cannot get on the Facebook. There's strict rules in the temple. You cannot socialize. You cannot talk to anyone. You cannot raise your voice. This is the holy place, the temple. And so, but these things, they do something. They kind of block all the stuff, little things that your mind is doing and distracting herself or himself with what is going on around. So it kind of forces you to kind of collect yourself, jam. That's the word the Sufis use, to collect yourself. So when you're forced to do it, many people are not conscious that this is happening, and a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I felt so serene in the temple. I felt so great." It's because when you are out of the temple, all your time and energy is going here and there, and most of the time I'm trying to pick up women off of Facebook, but but I'm not doing that. Then my energies collect. For somebody who's psychic or a medium like me, this is very perceptible, very. I think that the chakra that lights up more than any other one is the heart chakra, and as soon as I go into the temple, you feel there's a feeling of like some kind of somebody has put a magnet in your heart or your solar point. That's why the word solar comes in, and the Sufis call it Noqte Khorshidi, the solar point. It kind of like you feel there is some kind of coagulation or something has collected there, and it kind of spreads to the rest of the body. I think that the heart chakra is the one that more than any other chakra is dominant and controls everything. So when this lights up, and this is the first one that lights up, there is, in the beginning there is a feeling of serenity, and it becomes like in the atmosphere or the ambiance, there is a feeling of love and devotion. Heart chakra is the love chakra, the one that, and when it happens, it doesn't have to happen every single time, but when it does, to me, it's like the whole ambiance has changed. Something else is there, another person. But that's exactly what the Sufis mean by changing stations, going from place to place. Also, well, I don't want to go more into it, because then when the other chakras come in, it becomes very much a cult. And if you're not familiar, hey, what's happening? It's like going into an alien ship. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff, technologies, but you are not familiar, and it looks strange and threatening. But not. It's not something that was brought in from someplace else. It's just you. It's your own self is coming out, becoming this. You understand? It's very nice feeling. It's very serene in the beginning, and as I told you, your ambiance will completely change. But this first station, or how we get there, can happen in different forms in the daily life too. And whatever that I do that is part of this way and totally relaxes me, I see that I'm always consciously or unconsciously I'm doing that thing. For example, when I go to movies, okay, so when you buy the ticket, usually there's like an hour or half hour before the movie starts, and you can't really do much, just kind of walking around, and this is similar to that same experience. So also like people who take their vacation, you have to leave everything. For example, I haven't taken vacation for a while, but I should take another one. You leave the familiar and daily preoccupation, and you have to go another place, and you cannot do a lot of the stuff that distracts or eats up the spiritual energy. That has a relaxing effect. This is exactly like the beginning of being in the temple. You're collecting yourself. You're becoming jam, and that's how chakras light up. The Sufi master said, "Jam kon anche tavan ast to ra." Collect whatever energy or strength that you have. که همین معنی جان است تو. Because this is exactly the meaning of your soul. That's how, if you want to go here, this is the beginning of the route, and then the energies they collect, and then you'll have other experiences. And the good thing about this process, or the way of doing these things, is that many people, they take all kinds of supplements or drugs, legal or illegal, to be able to detach and have psychic experiences. But the problem with psychic experiences, they happen because of other chakras other than the heart chakra, that they are not dedicated to this totality, because the heart chakra is the love chakra, and it is really just you. It's not something that's in the mental world. When the mental chakra lights up, okay, so this is like is a part of it that's dedicated to mathematics and calculations and figuring things out, or also other chakras, they're good for remote viewing, and because they're kind of they're not supposed to be light up in the very first one. It's supposed to be this first one that had to light up, and then it powers up. It's like you go into a car and turn the ignition on. First you turn on the main engine, and then the engine powers up all the subsidiary. But what most people do, and even psychic, is they just going to use one part of the one of the chakras that has to do with the remote viewing or mental faculties. Okay, so I don't want this video to get long, because I'm like I've gone very far in this route, and then what I say is gonna sound very bizarre and strange, but so we're just gonna keep this simple. Uh, Whatever relaxation methods that you use to is just like the beginning of this journey or entering the temple, and then it's very rewarding. Every step is very rewarding. The first one is the serenity, and then the second one, the chakra light up, and it's not something bizarre or out of this world, or you have to take a special drugs or have this special guru and does this and that. No, it's simple, and it's also inherent in many spiritual traditions. A lot of people kind of know, hey, this is the kind of rewarding, and they do engage in many religions. But this is really what's happening. If you wanted to kind of break it down, how you got there. Well, the other thing I do is when I have a spiritual experience or a psychic experience, I try to see what was it, like steps that it took and I got there, or why did this come? Did I have a prayer that this experience came was an answer? It would be nice to sit and kind of figure out, hey, what does this mean? Why did this thing came in? Okay, sometimes you make a prayer and God answers, but the way the universe answers is not always something that you're familiar, is not part of your parlance. It's very sometimes very abstract, sometimes it's something very simple, but it means a completely different thing. Anyhow, the more I go into this stuff, the more complex it gets, the more unfamiliar it becomes to most people, and then I already have very low audience, so I don't really want to push my luck. I want to keep the few that I have. But thank you for being in my video channel, and please subscribe. My stuff is really research, and you can't really find this stuff too many places. Thanks.